Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to some general readings for the total lunar eclipse, supermoon, blood moon, flower moon for 26th, 27th of May, depending on where you are in the world. Now it's for the sign that is in the title of the video. It's a bulk introduction as ever. There'll be a timestamp that I'll put down below because I would suggest watch your sun, your moon, and your rising. And if you only get to watch one of them, watch your rising. Now, as ever, there's a link in the description down below for a birth chart, so you can find out your rising sign if you don't know it. And as general readings and general YouTube readings, standard advice applies. You know, if it don't fit, don't try and make it fit. Don't let me make decisions for you. It's not so much, well, I suppose this one is a take what resonates, because normally I would say for my more specific readings, ask a question. But this time I'm using basically oracle cards, and it's having a look at what energies I think this lunar eclipse, or I feel, or I intuit, I suppose would be a better way of saying it, or what the cards think anyway, that are bringing to us to experience throughout the effect of this lunar eclipse. Now, sometimes that can be up to 3 months. I've got stuck in my head from somewhere. I think 3 months for a lunar and 6 months for a solar. However, looking at the symbolism and looking at the astrology of it, it looks like it's definitely a build up and a preparation of the solar eclipse when that arrives in 2 weeks, another 2 weeks' time. So I will be doing a show with astrologer David Fisher, looking at the astrology of this lunar eclipse, and also it's a full moon. So I will still be doing my full moon gods at play readings as well, where I will be looking also at the angels and demons and that sort of the symbolisms and the degree symbols of the lunar eclipse itself. Here, since it is a south node eclipse, that is also talking about letting things go, releasing, dealing with the past, all of that sort of stuff. So I thought I would have a look at the angel regarding the south node itself, which in this case is Menadel. But I also want to point out that this is under the influence of Neptune, 22 degrees Pisces. So under modern rulerships, it's happy, it's at home, it's at 22 degrees, it's a master number, giving it extra whammy. And have a look at Soul Garden Namaste TV, Serious Joy, sorry, on YouTube for more about step 22, as Kushwateki calls it. But this is conjunct Pallas, the asteroid Pallas, which a few astrologers have made something of. There's a great video. Well, there was a great note, but I'm sure there was a video about it. If I may suddenly think I'm imagining it, but about Neptune conjunct Pallas from Anastasia Cosmic Astrologer. But the one thing that I noticed that nobody else is talking about is that it is also conjunct the asteroid Orpheus. So Neptune conjunct Pallas is extra psychic whammy, extra psychic awareness, extra psychic atmosphere, psychically charged. It's also Pallas can be looking at the wise way to weaponize things. So I think we have to keep a very close eye on the media and see what symbols and metaphors and dreams and wishy-washy woolly ideas that they are pushing forward more and more and more in order to sway public opinion one way or another. Take that as you will. I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything like that, so I'm not listening to that sort of aspect of it. But when we look at the patent argument about the COVID vaccine, or we look at the various other economic arguments that abound on the planet, I wouldn't be surprised if something comes up. But with this also being conjunct Orpheus, now what do we know about Orpheus? He was a musician. and he descended into the underworld to bring back to life his lover Eurydice, who had been killed by a snake bite, and he braved all sorts of challenges and unfortunately failed on the last 5 yards. But there's this image of a descent into the underworld for heroic reasons. Now, a lot of the astrologers are saying that this is a letting go of past baggage. And to be honest, some of the degree symbols back this up. But with Neptune and Pallas together, we are able to dive into our own personal underworlds, Orpheus, and note those ideas and beliefs that have been used against us, even if it is us using them against us. You know, standard counseling sort of philosophy of it's not so much what other people have told you, it's what you learned as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old that you have to deal with. And let's face it, a 4, 5 or 6-year-old doesn't always get things right. So it looks like it's a perfect opportunity to dive into all those sorts of issues. Now, the angel, as I said, for this is Menadel. Now, as a degree angel, Menadel represents fear or fearlessness, and inner and outer work. So those, if we descend into our own underworlds, get the teeth in, then that is inner work that can have an effect on our lives, on the outer work, quite dramatically, I would say, under this Neptune Pallas Orpheus conjunction, all being ruled by Menadel. Now, Menadel is about liberation. So again, there's that letting go. Freedom and work. Not freedom from work, but finding that work that is your great work, whatever your great work may be. It's associated with Mars. So there is all this diving into the underworld. It's not just to dive into the underworld and stay there and wallow in, oh, look, I've got this issue, and oh, look, I've got that. It's a dive in, do what you need to, get out again. Now, Menadel's also a guardian of some people born under the sign of Virgo. I've not got the degrees, but I've got the dates, 18th to the 23rd of September, traditionally. So I don't know if you have your birthday in that period, you may get a bit of extra whammy from this transit, purely from that angelic resonance. Now, the interesting thing is the Chandra degree, Chandra symbol or inside degree we have is icicles melting. And the description is soul timing, slow and formative, waiting for fullness and ripeness, outliving old stuck patterns by slowly wearing them out. Something that I think we are in the process of, certainly since last year and all the crazy astrology that we've been having since late 2019. Deep process, you experience lessons in humility and simplicity. An extravagant streak which relents only after relentless pressure. Now, can you see in this symbol, there's also that tension between the Saturn-Uranus square going on. The conflict and the attempting to balance the old with the new. In fact, it says, the next thing it says here is cross purposes. You have an attachment to personal inclination of the most stubborn kind, and yet a desperate drive to get beyond the shadow. Interior dialogue and dispute. I don't think this is going to necessarily be externally a dramatic full moon. With it, the normal full moon, if you worked in all sorts of jobs, you know full moon is always a crazy night. I think the eclipse aspect would hopefully calm that down a bit. Fingers crossed. But I think internally, it promises to be a doozy. The slow burning way and allowing pride to surrender without being made wrong. Elaborate maneuvers towards significant breakthrough, which backs up everything that I was saying. Now, the Sabian symbol. Now, here's a fascinating one. Let me scroll down to it to make sure I get it right. Where have you gone? Now, it's a flag turns into an eagle. The eagle into a chanticleer saluting the dawn. Now, I see that Saturn Uranus old versus new in that symbol as well. The eagle, although it's gone down, it was a symbol of Rome, it's a symbol of America. It's not the only country that has the eagle as one of its symbols. And it comes historically, if you like your ancient alien stuff, it comes from Babylonian times, and it was the symbol of Enlil. Where, if you like your ancient aliens, you'll remember that Enlil is the one that tried to bump us all off because we were thinking too much and getting too bright. And it was his brother Enki who managed to save more than a few of us. Enki, if you're unfamiliar with Sumerian myths, you can look at Enki in a way as being a cross between Poseidon and Prometheus, because Enki was the one who gave mankind gifts and theoretically created us in the first place, and so therefore we're his pets, and he wants us to prosper, and ignore all the weird power dynamics of that statement. So in the background of this strange allegory, we recognise the deep-seated belief that the American nation and its basic democratic institutions were constituted to be the cradle for a new step in human evolution. How ironic that Dame Rudyard would look at it that way. And under modern context, absolutely. Under your ancient alien context, gets a bit weirder, doesn't it? But then again, so if you're into your conspiracy theories, this is a great one. Because the keynote of this symbol is the spiritualization and promotion of great symbols of a new age by minds sensitive to its precursory manifestations. How apropos right now, when you have everyone talking about the new age of Aquarius, that I still say we're not in it for a few hundred years yet, but we have that Aquarian energy, we have that air energy from the new 200-year, 800-year Jupiter-Saturn Great Conjunction cycle that has now entered the element of air. So even to a point, and I suppose this comes from my more scientific past, I'm a stickler for going, we are not yet in the age of Aquarius, but it really doesn't harm to start believing that we are, because of the good sides of it, because our beliefs and our actions defined by those beliefs will hopefully bring around that Aquarian paradise that everyone talks of, rather than maybe a totalitarian state, which is the shadow side of Aquarius. But let's not talk about that one. So, carrying on with Dame Rudyard's interpretation, the flag is the abstract symbol of the nation. It becomes an eagle, another US symbol, when the concept is made alive by bold and transparent action. I suppose that relates to what I was just saying about the whole Age of Aquarius idea. The eagle symbolizes spiritual will and the power to rise from the highest possible altitude to the highest possible altitude of consciousness and purpose. Flying at such an altitude, the eagle is the first living creature to perceive the rising sun. Now, that he writes more about this, but I don't want this introduction to be too long. But I have not yet looked at the chart for the solar eclipse, and let's face it, I rely on David for the more technical understandings of all that anyway. But it will be interesting to see what I dig up about Amael for the full moon gods at play readings. Other than that, you can ask a question before this reading. Here's your opportunity now if you want to. I'm not going to guarantee you'll get an answer because it's not necessarily that sort of reading. But I'll bring the cards up in a second. So if you want to, pause, ask your question, concentrate on it for a few minutes and start the video again. In the meantime, I'll bring up the cards. Okay, Virgo. So, sun, moon, rising. If you're Virgo rising, or if you go by solar houses, then this is occurring in your fourth house, all about your home, your roots, your the place where you feel safe. Now, this is an interesting reading, to put it bluntly. One of those oh goody another learning experience, but it's not quite a learning experience. If I go through the cards first, there's positive and negative here. We start with ally in disguise. Discover the hard to find blessing. So this immediately makes me think that yes, some event is coming that will upset your equilibrium. I don't think that this is a bad thing. I want to stress this because of the other cards that are here. However, you may be required to keep an eye on your budgets and your finances just to be on the safe side, because there is some event coming where on first glance you are hard pressed to see how this is good news, but it seems to be opening something up for you. What is really interesting is this Wisdom of the House of Night card, which follows on from that theme. We've got Aphrodite with Vision, card number 8. But I'll get onto this because I'm going to read out from the books for some of these, because it is so... there's a theme. There's definitely a theme for you, Virgo, here. We have the Eyes of Beauty from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle. Now, this is basically the difference between glass half full and glass half empty, and you are being encouraged to look at glass half full, which again is backing up this story of the ally in disguise card that implies that there's something going to turn up that will upset your equilibrium, that initially is going to look like a crisis or a catastrophe or a problem or an obstacle. And yeah, it is, but it most definitely isn't at the same time. It is a large opportunity. So it's all about the way that you look at it. Now, this may be some form of, I don't know, it could be some form of legal action or decision. And when I say legal, I don't necessarily mean going to the courts. Like a change in legislation would also fall under this, a local ordinance or something like that. But it's opening up new doors for you. We have card 15, Eternal Union, from the, what's this one called? Sacred Spirit reading cards, and Galactic Healer. Move forward with an open mind. So again, we've got that with the open mind message. We're looking at making sure that you are seeing the good in everything, or making the effort to see the good in everything, because whatever this issue is, that's going to be harder to do to start off with. But this is opening up windows for you, because the other side of this Galactic Healer card is that you are being pulled into a role where you are able to promote healing. Now, whether this is for you, or whether this is for people around you, or whether this is for your community or your workplace or what have you, yeah, you'll figure that out. It's going to be different for everybody. But it certainly involves money, because with Melcom here, the basically Melcom is a creation of Colin Duplancy. I think he's based on Mammon, but he's head of payroll of hell, according to the Infernal Dictionary. And that is saying keep an eye on your budget, keep an eye on your finances, which, if there is this obstacle coming up, is probably a good idea. Now, Uriel, Angel of Flame. This is the one that I want to read from the book, wherever I've just put the book. It's not the only one. I want to read Aphrodite as well. But, oh, page before. No, page after. Ah, here it is. Wild and unwieldy, restraint is unthinkable. Uriel cannot be bound. The flames peel back the dark like silken fabric. The heat licks the edge of your awareness, and as you turn to meet it, you are consumed. The rhythms of heat and passion and flesh fill your mind. It comes over you like a wave, pressing your consciousness into your body. You can no longer think, you can only feel. Sensations tremble through your being. Uriel knows nothing but yearning. Look into the balefire of Uriel and it will explode your heart and leave you wreathing in desire. Now, with the Eternal Union card, one might immediately be led to basically think, well, hey, but I don't think this is what it's about. With it being South Node Eclipse, there's a lot of internal introspection. There's a lot of getting rid of stuff, lunar eclipse, South Node Eclipse, and opening up for a new path because vision is coming. This is what the Aphrodite card is saying. And Edgar Casey, who is, I didn't even look that one up because it's Edgar Casey. I was familiar with his writings at a very young age, and that level of insight, that level of understanding of things, and finding, not understanding of things as in I can see how this works, but understanding of things as in I have a good system that describes how things work. Two totally different statements. It's like having, like Newtonian mechanics works as a theory for anything not approaching the speed of light or not subatomic. So we know that it works in its right place, and we're not saying that it's accurate because there is obviously some more fundamental law going on where relativity and quantum mechanics and standard day-to-day stuff are all obeying the same law. We just don't quite know what that law is yet. And that's what the Edgar Casey card is telling me, that you are seeing or having a good method of describing what is around you. Now, this obstacle, as I say, it may be legal. Now, I pulled out from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, Kaliel, who represents justice in this deck. And however, there was, as you saw on the shuffle video, loads of cards fell out and they fell like this. So it showed an underneath card, which I was going to discard initially. And then I looked at it and it's Mebahel, representing truth and justice. So there's a theme. Cards 18 and 14 here. So this obstacle is going to give you the opportunity to set something right, which is why I'm saying about promoting healing, because setting something right is a form of healing. If you are getting rid of, for example, if you are getting rid of a law that is obsolete and unfair in modern day society, then that is healing delivered upon that legislative state, nation. Let's just say nation, it's easier to say. So what form that healing precisely takes, again, all due to your own context. But this vision card, Wisdom of the House of Night, I have to read this out directly. Because I sort of remembered it, and now I'm going to look this one up so I can quote it. Even if a loss feels devastating at the moment, you still have so much to gain. If your question is about the future, choose another card. Well, I need to bother reading that bit out. The magical vision that you will receive here gives you the temporary power to see the future as a vast place full of possibility and potential. Your next card, which will take all the other cards as the next card, your next card will provide insight into the conditions ahead of you. To know the future is to be prepared. And there's that call for preparation with that Melcom here. So yeah, keep an eye on your pennies. Don't commit to anything, maybe, is a good message that is coming out of here. But again, even if the loss feels devastating at the moment, you still have so much to gain. Whatever this obstacle, roadblock, crisis, or catastrophe, whatever it is in your interest. And in facing it, you are able to be setting something right. And it is bringing you in alignment with something, either someone, whether that's as part of a team or part of a couple or part of a working relationship, but also with something bigger than yourself. And that's again what I'm getting for the Edgar Casey card. I suppose I should look him up. What number is he? 23. What's he all about? Most documented psychic, blah, 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 blah. Casey is most famous as a dreaming or trance psychic who moves between the astral planes to bring spiritual awareness, inspiration, and healing. His energy encourages you to facilitate deep access to the subconscious and bring cosmic states of awareness to the forefront. Cosmic states of awareness. Here with Edgar Casey, here with the Galactic Healer. So, you know that phrase by, I mean, there's more that it says, but stabilizes emotions, assists memories, and relieves the conscious monkey mind, and can aid in revealing reoccurring problems at the natural source, including those at the karmic source of reincarnation. Uncovering buried subconscious memories to facilitate healing. There is that sense of being able to break off some shackles of the past and put them right. That's it, really. So whatever this lunar eclipse brings you, again, a lot of these eclipse readings, it seems to be more about following the theme that we've had with the previous new moons, full moons, about refining. It's almost like you have the plan now, but there's still some obstacles in the way. So it's not so much developing more plan as in getting rid of some stuff that is preventing the plan. So let's completely forgetting about the tarot here. So there's one card. Oh, look, the Fool card. There is a new beginning coming for you with this obstacle, whatever it may be. Just stick with... right, do not be deceived by the way everything seems to all be horribly wrong. Listen to those passions. Do not necessarily let them move forward, because this is a time for you to be changing things. This is a time for you to bring great change to, by the looks of it, your finances, your position in life, and the way that you are approaching that life. There's a battle here that has been won. And maybe there might be a message here to, if there's an old battle that in your mind you are still fighting, time to pack it in now, Virgo. Is there anything else that I'm getting out of here? Because I love this. It's both very inward looking and very outward looking. It's very much having this occur in the landscape of your own mind and in your day-to-day life where you are affecting and benefiting others, is how I'm seeing this. So whatever the crisis or catastrophe or roadblock or obstacle is, it is a wonderful, wonderful new beginning. Excuse me. And even if it feels like a goal of yours has been ripped away from you, trust me when I say that's okay. Because glass half full, you need to see what has opened up for you in the meantime. Okay, so if this means anything to you, Virgo, comment down below. I will hopefully be doing full moon readings should the full moon gods at play readings, because when all said and done, this total lunar eclipse, supermoon, blood moon, flower moon event is also a full moon. So they should be out towards the weekend, the end of the weekend, I might add. Yeah, comment down below. See you later.